Managing file tracking and untracking with Git, as well as using the GitIgnore file in an Android Studio project, can be a little confusing. But these concepts are very important for using Git effectively in your projects. Let's begin with tracking files in Git. Tracking files means telling Git to pay attention to the changes in these files and basically track them. You can track files in more than one way if you're using Android Studio. For example, for our main activity.kotlin file, if we right-click on that file and go to Git, here you have an option to add. Okay, if you click on add, if you notice, the color of main activity is now green, which means that Git is now tracking the changes that are happening to main activity. Okay, so when we update our code and push our code to GitHub or any other platform like GitHub, this file will be tracked. Okay, so any changes that you make to this file will be updated in that source code. Okay, you can also track that same file from the terminal. Okay, this file is already tracked for now. Let's check our activity_main.xml file. If I click on this button and I right click on that file and go to open in Explorer, I can copy the path to that file right there. And in the terminal, I can write git add followed by the name of the file, which necessitates that you also write the directory of that file so that Git can find it. So you have to copy paste your location right there, followed by the name of the file, which is activity_main.xml. If I click on enter, as you can see, the file will also be in green now, which means that it is successfully being tracked by Git. Okay, that's another way. And you can also have all of the files in your project tracked by Git by writing git add space dot. Okay, if you write space dot, that will basically add all of the files in your working directory to be tracked by Git. And if you're wondering what those files are, you can write git status, which will give you a better idea of the current files that are not tracked. Okay, and the files that are tracked as well. Here, as you can see, we have two new files, which are main activity and activity_main.xml, and they're marked in green, okay, because they are being tracked. Meanwhile, anything marked in red right here is not being tracked by Git. If you want to untrack a file in Git, you can also do that. As you can see right here, you can use this command git rm, which stands for remove --cached. Okay, when you use --cached, this will not completely remove your file. It will remove that file from being tracked by Git, but it will keep the local cache of your file, which is your current working directory. Okay, and that needs to be followed by the file, just as we did with git add. Okay, so let's do that right here in the terminal with git rm --cached, and let's copy paste our XML directory again, followed by /activity_main.xml. I click on enter, and here, as you can see, rm stands for removed, as I've already told you, followed by the name of that file. And that file will be read again, okay, because it is no longer being tracked by Git. When we talk about tracking and untracking files, we need to talk about GitIgnore as well, which you can find. I can't seem to find it right there. Oh, there it is. There is your GitIgnore file. Okay, this is a file that gets added to any project that uses Git by default to tell Git what to ignore, basically, whether it is a file or an entire folder, if you want. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to ignore a file inside GitIgnore. For example, our local properties. We don't want our local properties to be uploaded to Git because every developer will have his or her own local properties. Okay, it seems that my local properties have this SDK directory, which is C users user. If another developer wants to download my project, he will of course have this SDK in a different location, okay, depending on the folders in his or her computer. And in that case, we need to ignore this file. And to ignore it, we need to find where local properties is located. If I collapse all of the files in the project, as you can see, it is inside the root directory. Okay, so if I go into my GitIgnore file, I can write local.properties. Okay, that will actually ignore my local properties file. And you can do it with another file right here, for example, the Gradle properties. With here, as you can see, you can directly get access to autocomplete sometimes, which gave us access to this build.gradle.kts. Okay, you can also ignore your Gradle properties and not have them uploaded to Git. And that's how you ignore a file in the root directory of your project. What if you want to ignore a file which is located deeply inside your project, like main activity, for example? This will take a while. Okay, so you can write, you can start with app, which is inside the root directory of your project. Here you have app. You can click on control space and get some suggestions. Okay, we need the source folder, / control space main, / control space Java, and just keep doing that until you reach the file that you want to ignore. Main activity .kotlin file. And that's how you ignore a deeply nested file inside your project. Okay. And I don't know why it is written like that, because if you want to ignore a whole folder inside Git, you can do that with the name of the folder followed by a /. And as you can see, you get a directory icon to indicate that this whole directory is being ignored. Okay, because typically you don't want your build files to be uploaded to Git. You just want them to be generated on the spot. Okay, and the same applies for your .gradle folder and your .idea folder. Okay, so you can do that as well for the .gradle folder and the .idea folder as well. Okay, and you can also do something with GitIgnore. You can, for example, ignore all of the files that end with a certain extension, like txt files, for example. Okay, and you can do that by using this wildcard. You use the asterisk key followed by .txt. Let's try to add a txt file so that we can see how this works by right-clicking, going to New, and choosing File. Let's create a readme.txt file. And if you notice, the name of that file is colored in light or dark yellow in this case. Okay, which means that this file is ignored by Git. Okay, if I delete this file now and I remove that rule from my GitIgnore file, let's try to create that file again with readme.txt. As you can see, in this case, I am prompted to add this file to Git, okay, because I'm not ignoring this file anymore. So if I click on cancel, this file will be untracked by default. But if I create a new file like this, and I click on add, it's being tracked by Git by default. Okay, so you can see that the name is colored in green in this case. Okay. If you like my type of content and you find it to be relatable, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.